It's outrageous that so many people are forced to live on meager rations, on poor quality food, and to endure other aspects of poverty in a society that is as affluent as ours. And this campaign has underscored for me the urgency of tackling the root causes, not the Band-Aid solutions, but the root causes of poverty. Many others feel the same as I do. And following the poverty diet, they're organizing, Anglicans across this diocese are organizing meetings with their MPPs, writing to them, expressing their concern about the tragedy of widespread poverty, and calling for action, starting with the $100 per month increase in social assistance. So if our provincial government is serious about poverty reduction, and I believe it is, then I can think of no better way for it to show its commitment than to implement the $100 per month increase in social assistance called for by this campaign. Thank you for your concern. Thank you, and blessings to you. Keep up the good work.
As nurses, we realize that disease and illness, it's not just because biology's gone wrong, it's a byproduct of our social conditions. So that's why we're here today to say that yes, we need to have social assistance reform. We need that $100, and that's just a first step to ensuring income adequacy. So one of the other great tragedies as a result of this, that people end up feeling bad. They're blaming themselves. There's that they're not working hard enough, that they failed, that they're doing something wrong, but the fault lies with us as a society. What are we doing to ensure that this vulnerable population is taken care of? So, as a board member of the Registered Nurses Association of Ontario, I can promise you that RNAO is going to continue to stand together with you over the long haul to advocate for public policies that will improve health for all Ontarians, especially for those in need. And just as an example, I want to show, we've created this political platform. So with the upcoming 2011 provincial elections, we are going to vote for people who are committed to providing vibrant communities, vibrant, healthy communities in Ontario. So thank you for being here today. This is a cause that RNAO believes in very passionately, and I hope we see some results.
Hi, I'm Tracy Mead. I volunteer for South Riverdale Community Centre and for Put Food in the Budget. I got involved with South Riverdale about a year ago. I did that because if you can prove you volunteer somewhere, welfare will give you an extra $100 for transportation. I use it for food. So I was skeptical when I first joined at South Riverdale. I didn't really believe it. It was, yeah, it all sounded good, that people, in theory, should have rights and should be allowed to eat and have dignity and health. So it sounded good, so I stuck with it. And I used to feel ashamed of being on social assistance. If people asked me where I worked, I used to, just quickly tell them and avoid eye contact, because you're going to get the look. I know that people think recipients are lazy and they live off the system and they don't want to get a job, and I even believed it. My self-confidence, self-esteem, and self-worth didn't exist. In the beginning, I was embarrassed to talk about this campaign. I thought we had no right to ask for these demands. Since then, I've been to rallies, I've handed out flyers, I've put up posters, attended meetings, spoken, and sang. In the choir, in the public. And I've listened. And I've listened to all the people that now surround me, and they are saying that I have a right to eat healthy food. They're telling me that I'm a person and I count. I was at the first Do the Math rally, the report back here a year ago. And to say that my eyes have been open since then is an understatement. In the year that's passed, I truly understand how diet plays a key role in your physical and mental health. And watching the Do the Math challenge unfold this time has been outstanding. I've been involved in all sorts of areas for this campaign, and I've seen changes, I've seen solidarity and growing support. I've seen opinions and misconceptions shift toward empathy and understanding. All of Ontario is saying the same things that I've been hearing all year. Imagine it might just be true. Living on social assistance doesn't have to be so painful, and people in over 30 communities in and around Toronto will tell you that this is the case. We say that you need to have strong, confident, healthy citizens that can contribute to our communities. Being a part of this campaign means that I can hold my head up. I don't feel ashamed, and I believe with every fiber of my being that all people deserve food. It's a basic right. I know I'm not alone anymore, and I walk with my self-respect, my self-esteem, and my self-worth intact. I walk with all the people who are involved in this campaign, the people that are fighting for change. It gives me strength and confidence to know that people actually care. It took years for people to build up these biased notions of people wanting to be on social assistance because it's easier than working, and it may take just as long to reverse this thinking and bring about change. But change is what we need because people are starving. Ask yourself if you could survive on $5.85 a month. Take the math challenge, and then look me in the eye and tell me that everything is honestly okay. What this campaign means to me is that people will be able to eat, they'll be able to make healthy choices for their diets. It means that food banks will no longer be a necessity to survival. And winning this campaign means that we can all hold our heads high. I'm proud to be part of this fight, and I demand change.
33% of our children and 53% of our adults go hungry at least once a week. For those that come to us for help, over 70% of their income goes just to pay the rent. As a province, if we believe that we should help and protect our most vulnerable citizens, then we have to do it properly. We need to ensure that social assistance and disability benefits are enough to allow people a decent life. That is all anybody wants, to be able to feed, clothe, and house themselves, a basic human right. My fondest hope is to be able to close the doors of the Weston Food Bank due to lack of need. What a difference to our community if those requiring social assistance or disability benefits had the type of support that would ensure they never need to go to a food bank again. This is a voting matter to me. I will walk away from supporting the Liberal Party if this government does not take the initiative to increase social assistance and disability benefits. If you agree that our government needs to act on this matter, please join me by making a public commitment to move your vote in the next election if Premier McGuinty does not increase social assistance by $100 a month for every adult living and receiving support in Ontario. Let your MPP know how you feel. Send an email, a letter, or make a phone call. Talk about this issue to your friends and family. The Liberal government has shown that public action can force them to change their policy, as it did in Oakville earlier this fall. The Do the Math and Put the Food in the Budget campaigns have really brought these issues out, but let's make sure we keep up the pressure. Thank you.
In a way, I think it's quite ridiculous that we need a campaign like this to remind the government that we need food to survive, that people on social assistance need food to survive, just like we need air to survive. So I think if the government or the members of the provincial government refuse to increase $100, we should have a different campaign. It's called the Hold Your Breath campaign. And tell them to try to hold their breath for a week and see if they survive, right? Because that's exactly what they're doing now to people on social assistance. Because racism exists, and because people of color, racism robbed people of color of their dignity and their economic opportunity. So in order to eliminate poverty, we have to eradicate racism. And it's not enough to just put food on the table. It's not enough for us to ask the government to increase social assistance by $100. We need the government to invest in our public education system so that our children can succeed. We need our government to invest in affordable housing so that we don't have to choose between paying rent or buying food. And we also need our government to pass laws such as employment equity law so that everyone, regardless of their race, gender, disability, has an equal opportunity to succeed. We need equity, we need social justice, we need equality. And to get there, we have to work together. Thank you.
I want you to know that on our provincial executive board for our union, we have people from Ottawa and Hamilton and Cobourg and Windsor and North Bay And all of them, every last one of them is going to take this challenge. And every last one of them is going to talk to members in their workplaces. And every last one of them is going to connect with people in the community. I also want you to know how so many amazing people I met in Windsor, in Peterborough, in Ottawa, in all of the places that I went, food programs, food cupboards, meal programs, helping people to survive. Amazing people, all of whom we should thank, but all of whom should not be necessary if we actually had resources for people and jobs for people to be able to feed themselves and their families. So, I'm going to end because it's my time, and I told them I'd take too long. But I want you to remember something. In the 80s, they talked about trickle-down economics. This is about not just trickle, but rush-up economics. It's why we're starting and focusing on people, yes, with people on social assistance. Yes, it is impossible for people to live a healthy life and buy healthy food and have enough means on social assistance. But we must build those connections to other workers in precarious workplaces. We must build those connections with other people who are in unions, working part-time, who can't feed their families. We must reach out and get that sense of fairness. Because that's when fairness kicks in. That's when our neighbors and people in our churches and other people will stand together. That's when we will build solidarity in such a way that we will win. Thank you.